Good evening and welcome to Champions League Live with me, Kevin Ferris, on LFS. As the quarter-finals begin, we're down to the last 8 in this competition, and 8 will become 4 in just over a week's time. Tonight, we start as Arsenal take on Real Madrid for the very first time at the Emirates Stadium, and we will be seeing who will come out on top tonight. Madrid knocked out local rivals Atletico in the round of 16 to get here. Arsenal had a pretty easy affair in the end to come through to this stage, winning quite comfortably in the Netherlands against PSV Eindhoven. Tonight, a much tougher test for the Gunners, and one that will really test their European credentials. Also this evening in the Champions League, as the quarterfinals get ready to get going, Bayern Munich take on Inter Milan. We'll keep an eye on that one for you throughout the evening. And tomorrow night, Barcelona take on Borussia Dortmund, where our key game, our commentary game tomorrow, will see Aston Villa, who are in the Champions League for the first time in over 40 years this season, and they're in the quarterfinals, and they head to PSG, who have already knocked out English opposition in Liverpool in the round of 16. That's the first legs. The second legs will take place next midweek, and we'll have all the details, all the action here on LFS. So very good evening to you. Welcome in. This is your scene for European football for the between now and the end of the season. The last 8 or the quarterfinals to decide who will make it to the semis, and then the final, the big one in Munich, in late May, to decide our champion of Europe. Will it be the holders that will reclaim it again, Real Madrid, or will someone new lift this illustrious trophy? Tonight we'll see whether one of these two sides can really put their name in the hat again. Let's have a look at the two teams then, starting with the home side in Arsenal. David Raya starts in goal. A back four of Jurrien Timber. A different centre-back partnership tonight. William Saliba is joined alongside Jakub Kiwior after Gabriel was announced that he would be out for the remainder of the season. Miles Lewis-Skelly is at left back. In midfield, Thomas Partey, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, who has a little bit of a connection with Real Madrid, because that is his former team. He captains Arsenal tonight, and a front three of Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka making his first start for Arsenal in 2025, and Mikel Merino, the auxiliary centre-forward, when injuries have horrified that position for Arsenal in the last few weeks and months. On the Gunners bench tonight, Setford, Neto, Tierney, White, Zinchenko, Goer, Jorginho, Trossard, Nwaneri and Butler, Oyedeji. For Real Madrid this evening, they start with Thibaut Courtois in goal, who'd missed the last 3 games after being injured on international duty. He is in between the sticks tonight for Real Madrid. In a back four, it's Fede Valverde, Raul Asensio, Antonio Rudiger and David Alaba at left back. In midfield, Luka Modric, the veteran, captains Real Madrid, with Eduardo Camavinga joining him. Jude Bellingham is further forward alongside his Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr., with Kylian Mbappe leading the line for Real Madrid. On the bench for the team in whites, and they're not in white tonight, they're in grey this evening at Real Madrid. They have Gonzalez, Mestre, Vallejo, Garcia, Vasquez, Ramon, Aguado, Diaz, Goulet, Andres, Endrick and Garcia, all on the bench. As I said, it's the reigning European champions against an Arsenal side who last got to the final when they beat Real Madrid in this competition back in 2006. Can they repeat that feat and go one better this time round and maybe lift this trophy? Kick-off at the Emirates in the quarter-final is next. Very good evening. Welcome in to LFS for our Champions League live coverage over the next 2 nights and over the next 2 midweeks, tonight and tomorrow night, and next Tuesday and Wednesday evening. We will have live coverage, live commentary of these quarter-finals of this competition that excite and always deliver. And certainly the round of 16 definitely did. If you remember back then, that was a great game between Atletico and Real. Penalty shootout in the Madrid derby. And it was of course Real Madrid that find their way through. But a different task tonight over the next 2 legs to see if they can face off against English opposition, which they have done in each of the last 5 Champions League quarter-finals, which is quite remarkable. They have an affinity with English opponents at this stage of the competition, do Real Madrid, but they have an affinity of beating them, which is something Arsenal want to break, that chain of command that Real Madrid have held over English teams over the last number of years. Tonight will be a test for both teams. Here's Mbappe, who will shoot from distance, but pretty comfortable in the end for David Raya. It was worth a hit from Mbappe's sort of position, but pretty comfortable for David Raya there. Yeah, say it again, it's from a good 25 yards out. It was never going to really test David Raya, who was well capable of dealing with it. Also this evening, we mentioned Championship last night on our Premier League stream. We will keep an eye on the Championship games. There's 9 Championship fixtures taking place this evening, and we will keep you up to date with the scores on those around about half time in our games. So any big news to tell you about, and we will let you know. But of course, the Champions League is our main focus. Here is Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal captain, striding forward, finding Saka. Back to Odegaard. Rolls it back to Urian Timber. It's good to say that again. From an objective point of view, from a point of view of not being a fan of either club, you know, seeing Bukayo Saka on that football pitch again, it's just good to see him back for the Gunners. And, you know, it's just he's a fabulous footballer, an incredible footballer, and just to witness his talent on the field is just a joy to watch every time. Here he is again, Saka. Bukayo Saka has already scored since he returned from injury against Fulham. Scored the winning goal in that game, actually. But ultimately the winning goal in a 2-1 victory. Odegaard, nice little turn of play. Finding Timber. He's battling down that right-hand side, but Madrid come out on top. Here's Bellingham. Loses the ball. Fairly won back by Arsenal as Saka gets brought down in the edge of the box. And the referee giving Arsenal a free kick, which Luka Modric doesn't agree with. It does look like a foul to me. Yeah, he just catches the left boot of Saka there as he tries to skip past him. It is a foul. Definite foul. And a free kick here for Arsenal. Our referee is from Bosnia and Herzegovina this evening. Irfan Peljito is our referee this evening. Not often you see a Bosnian officiating team, but it might be better than some of the others that we've seen this season. Arsenal with the first free kick of the game then, 3 minutes in. 0-0. Maybe an early test for Thibaut Courtois, his first appearance for Real Madrid since being injured in the recent international break. It's Odegaard that's over it, of course, left-footed. Tries to sneak it round the front post for Saka, but well defended by Luka Modric. Although that's a silly giveaway this time by Bukayo Saka. And now here's Vinicius Jr., who tried to go for the cross. It deflected off Saliba and into the hands of David Raya. That could have been costly for Arsenal. Saka just tried to guide the ball back to his centre-back Saliba. Doesn't see Vinicius Jr. on the blind side of him, who sneaks in round the corner and takes it right to the edge of the box. And the cross deflected nicely for Arsenal into the hands of their goalkeeper. Well, they've met just twice before, these two, in the Champions League. It was in the round of 16 back in 2005-06. Arsenal won the away leg and they drew the home leg 0-0 at Highbury, of course, back then. Rice was trying to get on the end of a ball there. Well cut out by Raul Asensio for a throw-in. Of course, Thierry Henry scored the only goal of the tie over the 2 legs at the Bernabeu. And actually made Arsenal the first English team to win inside the Bernabeu back in 2006. And they went on to reach their only European Cup final, Arsenal, in that season. Losing, of course, to Barcelona by 2-1 late on in that final. Here's Ødegaard. Switches the ball out to Saka on the right-hand side. Saka trying to feed the ball across the box, and not very well defended there from Real Madrid. It was Antonio Rudiger and Camavinga involved. And my goodness, that wasn't well defended. Camavinga leaves it. Rudiger tries to clear it, and it takes deflection off the backside of Eduardo Camavinga. And Real Madrid get a bit lucky that it goes wide for a corner rather than into the back of the net there. And here's another boost for them. Saka's corner taking on this right hand side. The first corner of the game for the Gunners. Saka, left-footed delivery, whipped across, and the punch from Courtois to send it over the bar. It's exactly my point. Saka's kind of set-piece delivery is just fabulous. And from that side, from that area of the pitch, it always causes goalkeepers problems from that right corner. And it did Courtois that time, who had to make a very good save. Another corner for Arsenal. Saka again will take. A bit closer to the front post. It's down in the box. But I think it was Rodrigo that comes carrying it away now for Madrid. As Mbappe helps it across to the far side now. Here is Rodrigo. Lots of Arsenal bodies back as Madrid's attempt at a counter-attack comes faltering. Lacked the pace on the counter there, Real Madrid, which is not usually the case for Europe's top side at the moment. Modric, Vinicius Jr., Luka Modric. Tries the ball over the top there, Modric. But Mbappe was making a run, and so was David Raya. And he came out and claimed the ball confidently there. Rolls it into Thomas Partey. Timber. Nice inside touch away from Bellingham. Finding Ødegaard. Cross now to Partey again. Lewis Skelly to Rice. Arsenal a bit more patient in their build-up. Passing it around, waiting for the space to open up. Here's Martinelli. Cuts it back to Lewis Skelly again, who feeds it through for Rice, who's made a nice run. And the cut across, headed away by Rudiger. And Real Madrid try and break away again. Mbappe on the turn. Skips away from the loose challenge by Ødegaard. Mbappe. Out to Alaba on the left side now. Vinicius Jr. Takes on his man, gets the cross in. It was a narrow one, but it was over the bar from that really tight angle. Went against Vinicius Jr. Worth an attempt, but it was going to have to be one of the most audacious attempts if that was to beat David Raya from that sort of range. And it ended up going over the bar for a goal kick. Oh wow, I've just seen that Arsenal corner again, and it's actually hit William Saliba, who clears it off the line really for Real Madrid. I think that's exactly what happened in that corner. It fed all the way in, and it was William Saliba facing away from the goal like a defender, and made have saved Real Madrid's skin there a little bit. The Arsenal centre-back from that corner. Very strange situation that was. 9 minutes gone. Arsenal have started pretty well. Held it out of the possession. Haven't had a shot yet though. A long time to go. 180 minutes over 2 legs is a long time. In this competition, anything can happen. And when it comes to the team Arsenal are playing, anything can happen. Here's Martinelli. Whips the ball in nicely. Away by Alaba. Well recycled, but given away cheaply there by Arsenal. As Modric sends flying into the sky. Saka beaten by Alaba. Nice takedown by Vinicius Jr. Who goes back to Rudiger. And Asensio. Out wide now to Fede Valverde at right back. Well, I would say one of the biggest boosts for Real Madrid is that Thibaut Courtois is in the net tonight. They've had been a bit of toying with goalkeepers up until this point. I was reading some of the news in the week that about Real Madrid and goalkeeping wise about their goalkeepers. Andre Lunin, of course, is their usual backup goalkeeper. He didn't play at the weekend against Valencia due to a leg injury, so it meant Fran Gonzalez, who's on the bench tonight, aged 19 years and 285 days. He became the youngest Madrid goalkeeper to make a La Liga debut since Iker Casillas back in 1999. So it was a very inexperienced goalkeeper at the weekend for Madrid, but a very, very experienced one. And of course Thibaut Courtois, who's seen it all in this competition, most notably for Real Madrid, but for various other clubs as well, as Jurrien Timber there felt he was held by Eduardo Camavinga, but I wouldn't even call that a love tap. It's not that much contact at all, really. He went down really easily there, Jurrien Timber. It's not a foul. Not in a million years would that be a foul. I have to say, Arsenal have come out with their intention. You know, before the game, I heard it from Martin Odegaard, heard it from Mikel Arteta. They want to impose themselves on this game. They want to come out fighting. They want to try and take the game to Real Madrid. And it's not that they've been overly intense in the first 10 minutes, but what they've done is they've controlled the possession so early on. And you can see they're coming out with this kind of intent of, yeah, we're coming out to attack this game of football. We're not here to defend against Real Madrid because they're Real Madrid. We're here to impose our game on it. Here's Martinelli down the left-hand side, breaking into the box. Martinelli across. The ball's bubbling about. The cut back. Partey. Good save by Courtois. And bounced back up into his hands. So much quality there from Arsenal. Great move down the left-hand side. Martinelli pushing Fede Valverde back into the box. Gets to the byline, cuts it back. Rice can't make any sort of connection to it. Marino then cuts it back to Partey, who has the strike. And Courtois can make the save. But that's much, much better from Arsenal. Really good quality down that left-hand side. And sometimes a cut back into the box that quick can be really indefensible. Real Madrid did as well as they probably could do there. And they've got a corner of their own here now. Do Real Madrid. How quickly the game can change. Arsenal have a chance at one end. 30 seconds later, Real Madrid have a corner. Their first of the game. However, there is a possible handball check on Raul Asensio, although I don't think that should be. I don't think that's a penalty. I think that's really harsh if that was to be given against Raul Asensio. His arm is slightly raised, but it is literally about this distance, if I can get it on the camera, this distance, when the ball was hit by Rice. His arm is down by as side as he probably could get it. I think that would be incredibly harsh if that was given. Really incredibly harsh. It is against Real Madrid. So they're checking for a possible Arsenal penalty. This is what the check is. I don't think it should be. I think Asensio's arm is down by his side. The ball's coming at him from literally no distance. And the decision is no penalty. Check complete. So just a Real Madrid corner. It will come in a moment. After the referee sorts out a few physical tussles. It's always the case. I mean, I've heard many people talking about these physical tussles from corners. I actually don't know how you resolve it. Do you give yellow cards? Do you give free kicks? What do you do from a referee's point of view to stop that? As Modric whips the corner in. Punched away by Raya. Confident punch by the Arsenal goalkeeper. Camavinga. Under a little bit of pressure. Oh, that was a stretch and a reach from Asensio. Had to get it away a danger from the Arsenal press. Bellingham there has to retrieve a loose ball. Camavinga. Modric. Madrid still committed a lot of their players up the field, as they're now just getting back into their more reasonable shape. Here's Mbappe wide on the right hand side here. Bellingham. Camavinga. Modric trying to find any sort of room here, Real Madrid. Haven't had much of the possession so far, just over 30% of the ball in the first 15 minutes, so they haven't really had much to go off so far, Real Madrid. Maybe this could be them starting to get a bit of the possession. And this right hand side here. Camavinga. Rudiger. Just keeping the ball moving. Still goalless in that other quarter-final between Bayern Munich and Inter Milan. That is in Munich tonight, where the final, of course, of this competition will be held in the end of next month in Munich. Stadium steeped in European history, and a city that's steeped in European history as well. Munich, of course. Bayern, 6-time winners of the Champions League or European Cup. Ooh, that's a risky pass across the defence. Not if Rudiger deals with it though, which he did. Alaba has his pass intercepted well by Timber. Saka brought it down, but it had crossed the sideline before he took the touch, and the officials say it's a throw-in. More calls of throw-in. Arsenal wanted a throw-in there. But again, they're not going to get the decision from the officials. Just a Real Madrid throw. On this right-hand side. They're not really happy with David Alaba, the Arsenal fans, but throw-in's taken. Nice, tidy bits of possession. Modric. Brought down by Martin Odegaard, and that will be a free kick to Real Madrid. Odegaard having a chat with the referee about the throw-in situation, but doesn't give him the right to commit a foul. It's not an excuse, but airing his transgressions with the referee there, Martin Odegaard. Vinicius Jr. tried that reverse switch ball, but intercepted well by Lewis Skelly, who holds off too and feeds a lovely ball down the left channel. Martinelli couldn't quite reach it. Asencio deals with it, puts it out for the Arsenal throw. That's fabulous from Miles Lewis Skelly, holding off two players, weaving his way through down that left hand side, and a perfect ball towards Martinelli. It's Rice tackling Modric. Seems like a protected commodity at the minute. Luka Modric, every time he gets touched, he gets a foul, but that's the referee's prerogative. Nothing for me to worry about there. Well, Arsenal do have a mixed record in the Champions League against Spanish teams. They've won 15 times out of their 40 meetings. No shortage of meetings against Spanish clubs in the competition. 15 wins, 16 defeats, 9 draws over those total of 40 games. In terms of the home games, they've won 10 of their 18 home games against Spanish teams over the years. Of course, they faced Girona in the league phase of the Champions League this year. Spaced Spanish opposition, winning by 2-1 on match day 8. Already qualified in the top 8 then were Arsenal on that night. It's actually 5 wins in the last 7 for the Gunners against La Liga opposition. home and away. They've lost just once in that run. And 5 of their last 7 ending in victory. As Camavinga has his ball intercepted by Partey, and Ødegaard comes away, goes down under a challenge. No foul given. The Arsenal fans protest from the stands, but Real Madrid come away with the ball. Rodrigo drifting inside. Lovely little touch by Mbappe, finding Vinicius Junior, who tried to curl it to the far post. Not enough curl on it there from Vinny Junior. Goes behind for the goal kick, which kind of triggers more boos and groans from the Arsenal crowd at the earlier decision to not give a free kick to Martin Ødegaard. I think the Arsenal fans maybe feel they're being a little bit hard done by in these moments by the officials, but from a neutral perspective, an objective perspective, it looks pretty fair from my opinion at the moment. Well, Arsenal don't have a great record in the quarter-finals of this competition. Now here's Saka! Oh, through ball there. Didn't quite find Marino. And Asensio able to mop it up defensively there for Madrid. Rudiger now trying to find Vinicius Junior, but the ball a little bit wayward on that occasion, allows Arsenal to win the throw-in. As I was saying, Arsenal's record in the quarterfinals of the European Cup or the Champions League, they've been in the cup. They've played 8 quarterfinal ties or 8 quarterfinal games. They've won just 2 of those 8 games, lost 6 of their previous quarterfinal games in their history in this competition. No doubting that 2006 kind of campaign, 2005-06 campaign was their best for the club in their history in this competition. No doubt about that for Arsenal. And this team feeling they're as close as they have been in recent history to progressing and doing well in this competition. But as a whole, really, the club has built in the last number of years into this team that can be successful. It's a team that's capable of it, but so far haven't really been able to get over the line in any of those situations. And this is where the big tests come. There's no bigger a test than the reigning European champions, the record holders of this competition. There's no bigger test. I'm sure Arsenal would have preferred it in the final if it was possible, but here is a lovely ball by Vinicius Junior, killing Mbappe! Fired it over the bar, but he was offside anyway. A little bit of a stumble from Arsenal defensively there. We'll see this again. A little ball across the defence. Committed in, I think, was it William Saliba? It was. He committed in, didn't win the ball. Vinicius Junior could then feed it in behind for Mbappe, who couldn't hold his run. And it was offside from the Frenchman. If he got himself onside, it didn't matter anyway because it was well over the bar. Could not keep his composure. And I gotta say, for a man who knows where the back of the net is, he certainly looked alien to him there for a matter of seconds. As this will not be something that Mikel Arteta wants to see. Another defender down. Jurrien Timber is the one that is down, receiving treatment at the moment. Of course, Gabriel confirmed this week that he would be out for the remainder of the season due to that hamstring injury, having to get surgery on his hamstring. So that will end his season. Just a matter of weeks to go. But Jurrien Timber is back to his feet, but not quite miraculously healed at the minute. He is still struggling a little bit. It's not the only Arsenal player, Gabriel, that's been injured. Ricardo Calafiore's missed the last 2 games. Kai Havertz is out till the end of the season. Gabriel Jesus is still on the sidelines. Takahiro Tomiyasu as well. So there are a number of players in this Arsenal squad that are injured at the moment, and probably long-term injury concerns. He certainly doesn't want that list to get longer, Mikel Arteta. As Sam in the chat says, today I've got Arsenal and Bayern Munich to win. Well, let's see what can happen. Remember, of course, just the first legs of these quarter-final ties this evening. Second legs, or the return legs, will take place next midweek. And good luck to you, Sam, on that. I'm guessing it's a bet or a prediction, one of the two. Good luck anyway. As the ball comes wide here to Saka. Steps onto his left on the inside, up against Alaba. Gets the inside again. And tries that low cross, but Camavinga gets it back to his goalkeeper quite easily. That's better for Madrid, finding Mbappe from the goalkeeper there. And Rodrigo trying to create the angle for Mbappe, but well defended by Kivior. And Saliba, although dispossessed there, was Lewis Skelly. Rodrigo, Mbappe, nice little roll of the ball. Crowded out there, Mbappe. He had Camavinga for support, who somehow retrieves the ball and keeps it. Surrounded by 4 red and white shirts. Here's Rodrigo. Modric, now Camavinga. Rudiger. Alaba. Right, Rudiger again, looking to switch the play out to the far right-hand side for Fede Valverde. Still taking up that right-back position. Fede Valverde, which it's not a bad thing. Certainly it's proved that he is more than capable of playing that role at right-back, Fede Valverde. It's not his natural position or his probably preferred position, but at the minute he's doing a job, and he's doing it very, very well for his manager and his team. As Camavinga wins the ball back off Ødegaard, who had a little spell with the ball there for a matter of seconds. Gotta say, Real Madrid have battled back possession-wise in the last 10 minutes or so. They'd really struggled to get the ball in the first 15. Looking a little bit brighter with it in these last 10 minutes or so. Here's Declan Rice. Lewis Skelly. Partey. To Timber, who is okay, by the way, to continue. I look very pale in this camera. Urian Timber is okay to continue, which is good news for Mikel Arteta. As I mentioned, those injuries. Bench-wise, if Timber was unable to continue, there is Kieran Tierney and Ben White and Alexander Zinchenko all on the bench, all fullbacks, but I would guess none of them are really match fit or match sharp. You don't want to throw them into the deep end in a Champions League game if you don't have to. I'm sure he would prefer not to do that. Would Mikel Arteta. 28.5 minutes gone. Arsenal 0, Real Madrid 0. Arsenal, I would say, have looked better on the ball and maybe had the better of the opportunities. But so far, neither side able to massively test their opposing goalkeeper with any real great concern. It's that ball through the lines. Couldn't quite find Bukayo Saka from Lewis Skelly. Lewis Skelly picked up the central position. Tried to play that arrowed ball out to the right flank. Saka made the inside runs. Just a miscommunication. And it allows Real Madrid to get a throw in here deep in their own half. David Alaba. There's Modric trying to hold off. Rice trying to keep the ball in play and goes for a Real Madrid goal kick. Some championship news to tell you about. A couple of goals. Most crucially in that 8 o'clock game at the Riverside Stadium between Middlesbrough and Leeds United, Dan James has given Leeds the lead tonight, which would put them back top of the championship, because this is what's happening elsewhere. Sheffield United are losing at home to Millwall at Bramall Lane. Millwall leading through Josh Coburn, who's given them the lead in the first half there. From Millwall and Burnley are drawing away at Derby. So if those results stay as they are, Leeds United would be top of the championship by the end of play this evening. But all still to play for, as that's a lovely ball by Bellingham. Here is Mbappe! Good save by Raya. Mbappe didn't really get as good a connection or good as a finish as he probably would have wanted. But David Raya, strong as an ox in the way. And now Arsenal bounce back, spring up the other end. Here's Martinelli, chips it back across. Rudiger with a header in the air, and Courtois catches the dropping ball. It was great work from Arsenal. Real Madrid had a chance at one end, and they come springing right up the other to try and issue a response. A slip there at the back. That's a good challenge by Timber, and another one, but Arsenal a bit sloppy here. Mbappe stepping away from trouble, fiending Rodrigo, trying to get the cross in. Good block there at the front post by Miles Lewis-Skelly, which gets Real Madrid the corner. Yeah, we see this ball again by Bellingham. Lovely weighted ball in behind for Mbappe. Gets it. You see it so often with Mbappe when he makes that run in behind. He angles his body off to the left so he can open his body perfectly for that right-footed effort into the far corner. We see it so often. He just doesn't get it wide enough away from the goalkeeper. And David Raya makes a very, very good save. I'll respond to one of those comments in the chat in a moment. I don't know about that. As the Arsenal get ready to defend a corner here. So we'll wait on this moment. Corner delivered by Madrid. It's a pretty poor corner. Saka clears it away from little to no danger, really. It's a pretty poor corner. It's like they wasted it. Tierney says, hello, how much for you to shave your moustache? I mean, it's not the question I was expecting to be asked tonight, but how do you respond to something like that? I mean, I don't think anybody has to pay me to shave my moustache. Is it that bad? Jesus. I will be having a shave soon. Here's Mbappe. Arriving again, finding Vinicius Jr. on the left side, getting the cross. Headed away by Saliba. Madrid having a little bit of a purple patch at the moment. Here's Mbappe. And Alaba, but the foul's going to go against Kylian Mbappe there for bringing down Mikel Merino. Just going to get Arsenal the free kick. Yeah, it's one of those where Real Madrid have held the ball up well in the last couple of minutes. Arsenal maybe trying to get the grips with it. Fabulous bit of skill from Mbappe though. Individual quality is just sensational. Again, not able to complete the finish. Here is Ødegaard. Wide to Saka. Down the right side. End to end at the minute. Here's Ødegaard. Trying to find the right pass. Trying to find the right option. Goes back wide to Saka. Saka steps onto his left. Feeds it into Ødegaard again. Nice 1-2, but just about held off for a matter of seconds there by Real Madrid as Partey retrieves. And the ball's recycled wide to Timber again. Saliba. Kivior. Now Declan Rice. Wide on the left side is Martinelli. He was stopped there well by Fede Valverde. And out for the Arsenal throw. Game has been a lot more open. Real Madrid, I would argue, have had the better of it in the last 5-10 minutes. But again, as I said, not able to make it a a numeral advantage in terms of the scoreline. More possession based than shots. They've had the advantage in the last few minutes, but nothing of major tangible difference when it comes to this game. Valverde gets a long clearance away to Vinicius Jr. on the halfway line, who felt a clipping at his heels and wins the free kick off the referee there. Urian Timber deemed to have committed the foul. And he did kind of clip him. Yeah, it's one of those 50-50. Whether they give it or not. The referee decided to give it. Real Madrid have reset the in-play actions now with the ball. Actually have a lower passing accuracy than Arsenal so far. Real Madrid 84%. Arsenal with a 90% passing accuracy at the minute, according to the official Champions League stats. Arsenal's passes a little bit sharper, a little bit more incisive, but Real Madrid have maybe not focused on possession based and maybe just getting the ball forward a little bit quicker, taking a few more risks, playing a few more risky passes than the Gunners. Here's Modric. Camavinga. Was a bit caught sleeping there by Mikel Merino, but he somehow came away with the ball. Rudiger's switch ball didn't quite reach Rodrigo, sorry. Rudiger to Rudiger. Rudiger to Rodrigo there, didn't quite work out. And now here come Arsenal. Rice on the left channel, not in a hurry to stride forward. Switches across into space for his captain, Odegaard, who has space to break. Finding now Saka. Edge of the box. Bukayo Saka takes on his man. Gets to the byline across. All the way through the 6-yard box. And no one there to tap in for Arsenal. There's the definition of missing a poacher. All the right build-up, all the right approach play, but not having that incisive striker in that position. It was no man's land really for the Madrid defence and goalkeeper. And all it was waiting, it was gasping for an Arsenal player to tap it in. And it didn't come. That's much better though from Arsenal. Here's Martinelli up against Valverde. Steps on the inside of him. Valverde wins the battle though, as Rodrigo comes away with it now. Modric. Camavinga. Tight spaces for Madrid to play through, as they go all the way back to Thibaut Courtois now. We have a goal to tell you about, I believe, as Real Madrid have the ball here. Fede Valverde to Mbappe now, finding Modric. I'll tell you about that goal in Munich in a moment, because I want to make sure that it is right and there's no VAR checks, because the many times that I've checked I've seen a goal on the screen and then it's been reversed because of VAR checks. So we will await the official confirmation, but we do believe Inter have taken the lead away at Bayern Munich. Lautaro Martinez is deemed to have scored the goal, so Inter have taken the lead. I'm just hearing it is confirmed. Inter are ahead against Bayern Munich. What a statement for the Italian side. We currently sit top of the tree in Serie A to Inter Milan. It's a close battle with Napoli. They're leading the charge for the Scudetto. I'll say that a bit more Italian. Scudetto. But and lead Bayern Munich tonight. It's the league leaders in Germany against the league leaders in Italy in that one. At the minute, we're watching the second place team in England against the second place team in Spain. As it stands, Barcelona and Liverpool, the respective leaders of the Spanish and English top flight. These two playing second fiddle to their respective country teams. As Odegaard's through ball, Saka! Oh, the cross took a deflection. It took it away from the Arsenal attackers again. My goodness, Bukayo Saka's a cheat code. Time and time again, he's getting in this position, and there's just things that he does. He gets in the right space and makes the cross so indefensible, and somehow Real Madrid have got away with it twice. If they keep allowing it to happen, they're not going to get away with it for too long. As Timber is dispossessed centrally, and Mbappe was kind of clotheslined there on the turn by Thomas Partey, which is going to see a free kick to Real Madrid. Yeah, he tried to turn. It was actually Jakub Kiwior that was involved. I don't know why the camera showed Thomas Partey. Who knows? But yeah, it was Jakub Kiwior that committed that foul. Interestingly, and we always do this, there are a number of players in both squads tonight that are subject to a suspension. If they receive a yellow card this evening, would be suspended for the second leg in the Bernabeu. Now, of course, both teams are missing players due to that. Aurelien Tchouameni, the Real Madrid midfielder, he is missing tonight due to suspension for accumulation of yellow cards, as is Raheem Sterling for Arsenal. So they're both suspended at this moment. Players that would be suspended if they get a yellow card tonight, there are 3 in the Arsenal starting 11, or 3 in the Arsenal squad overall. None of their players on the bench would get a suspension. But Declan Rice, Jurrien Timber and Gabriel Martinelli, if either of those 3 are booked tonight, they would miss the second leg in Madrid. For Real Madrid, they have 4 players in their starting 11, 6 in their squad overall, and their manager, if they were to be booked, would miss the second leg. Camavinga, Vinicius Jr., Luka Modric and Antonio Rudiger from the starting 11, and Endrick and Lucas Vazquez, who are both on the bench tonight. If any of them are booked for Real Madrid this evening, they will miss the second legs, as will Carlo Ancelotti if he gets himself a yellow card tonight, the Real Madrid coach. So, yeah, a few players and a head coach as well on tender hooks and trying to keep their emotions in check. There's one yellow card, we'll see them miss the next leg, which could be crucial, and probably crucial more for Real Madrid, to be honest, because it is their home leg. The second leg, obviously. Now, don't forget, we have more Champions League action for you this midweek. Tomorrow night, we have a lovely game for you, and I'm really excited for this one in Paris. PSG against Aston Villa tomorrow, 8 o'clock here in LFS, alongside Barcelona Borussia Dortmund, which is going to be a cracker as well. But PSG Villa is our commentary game tomorrow night. Aston Villa in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Who thought it was possible a number of years ago? I know I certainly didn't. But they are, and they're facing a PSG side who knocked out the English league leaders in Liverpool in the round of 16 on penalties at Anfield. So if they can do that, PSG, seems like they could do anything. They might be a real dark horse that many didn't really predict could be a competitor this season in the Champions League, especially after their start to the campaign in the league phase, but are certainly a contender now, are the newly crowned French champions, Paris Saint-Germain, for how many times in a row. Here is Timber, whips the ball into the box, the header, oh, great save by Courtois, the follow-up saved again. 2 great saves to deny Arsenal. They have a bit of defending to do themselves, and their goalkeeper has to get a good advantage on this, which he does. That's very good from Raya under a bit of pressure. Arsenal denied by Thibaut Courtois twice in the space of about 3 or 4 seconds. That will incentivise them much, much more, but it will also give Real Madrid a little bit of a scare as we edge closer to the end of this first half. Odegaard, wide to Saka. Saka tiptoeing on the right side, whips it with his left foot, back post. Martinelli couldn't keep it in play. I gotta see those saves again. Incredible. Great play by Arsenal, good cross by Timber, the header by Rice, well saved by Courtois, and then the rebound bounces back out to Gabriel Martinelli, who takes it on the half volley with his left foot, as clean as you like strike, and Courtois makes another great save. Two very, very, very top quality saves from the Real Madrid goalkeeper that has kept Arsenal out, at least on this occasion. My goodness. That's why I said Real Madrid, I'm sure, are more than delighted that Courtois is in the starting 11 tonight and between the sticks, because those are the type of saves he makes. Game-changing, game-saving moments for Real Madrid. That's what the top keepers in the world do. And Thibaut Courtois is by far one of the top players in the world in his position. No doubt about that. So we will have 1 minute to go of the 2 added that were added on at the end of the first 45 here at the Emirates. It is still goalless between Arsenal and Real Madrid as Camavinga dispossesses. I think that was Moreno, it was. Here is Rodrigo down the right side for Madrid. Mbappe a bit deeper. Modric. Rudiger. Might Madrid have a little chance before half-time? Modric. Bellingham facing away from goal, finding Camavinga, who finds a little lovely ball out wide to Fede Valverde. Steps onto his left. Valverde rolls it back for Camavinga. Camavinga's shot is high and wide and behind for a goal kick. It's better again for Madrid. Better again. The finish wasn't great, but it was better build-up play from the visitors. Maybe a little bit of a boost they needed before half-time. Because there is the half-time whistle. A first half where it's ebbed and flowed, as a good quarter-final should. Both sides having decent opportunities, but no doubting, I would say, in my opinion, Arsenal have had the better of them, and Thibaut Courtois has certainly kept Real Madrid from being behind at the break. Half-time at the Emirates in this Champions League quarter-final. First leg, it is Arsenal 0, Real Madrid 0. Analysis on the way next. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Champions League Live. Half-time at the Emirates Stadium. It is Arsenal 0, Real Madrid 0 at the break in a first half where Arsenal were certainly, overall, I would say, had the better of the opportunities and were the better side. But nothing to show for it for Mikel Arteta's team. But no chance, no doubting the fact that Thibaut Courtois had a big say in Real Madrid. Staying very much level at the moment. Right, we will analyse that first half in a moment as well, but we also need to keep an eye on the other fixture this evening that's being taken place in Munich between Bayern Munich and Internazionale Milano, to give them their full name. Here is how that looks at the moment. At the moment it is 1-0 to Inter Milan at half-time. Lautaro Martinez with the goal after 38 minutes, set up by Marcus Thuram, and Lautaro Martinez completed the finish to give Inter the half-time lead. It was actually Bayern that had the better of the chances. In a fairly even first half, Bayern had more of the big chances and more of the shots, and Inter's goalkeeper has made 4 saves, has Jan Sommer in that first half, the Inter goalkeeper. So has had a big part to play himself, but his team have taken the lead. Inter lead at the break. Here at the Emirates, it is still goalless, as I said, at half-time. But no doubting the fact that Arsenal probably had the better of it to the end. And I think if we to really kind of calculate and kind of average out over the half who was the better team, I would edge it for Arsenal, because I think on a more consistent basis they got from back to front on more occasions, looked more threatening, were testing Thibaut Courtois more, were asking questions, were getting in the right areas, were making those inside runs from the wide areas, playing nice passes, looked a little bit sharper, looked a bit more in control. I think all of those factors add up in Arsenal's favour, and I think that's why I would say that they've probably edged the first half. But then again, Real Madrid had their moments in the first half where they might have tested David Raya and Kylian Mbappe with a couple of opportunities. Probably should have done better. Vinicius Jr. had a chance that went wide as well. So Camavinga had a shot from distance that really wasn't much of note. But they're getting shots off Real Madrid, but they're not testing the Arsenal goalkeeper enough. And when they do, they are probably poor finishes that they should do better on. But they are in this game, no doubt. I wouldn't quite say it's been completely Arsenal, and Arsenal should be well ahead. But what I would say is that I don't think it's I wouldn't say it's not as even as expected, but I think Real Madrid maybe need to still show a bit more control in possession, a little bit more. They need to command the field. At the minute they look like they're kind of standoffish, standing back a little bit and saying, oh, whoa, this is Arsenal, you know what I mean? It's like not fear, but also kind of just a bit of apprehension in Real Madrid at this time. But that's not a bad thing, you know. It's their away leg in the first leg of the Champions League, you know, the quarterfinals. They don't have to come out here and show their very best in these first 45 minutes. They've got another half here in this first leg, and then they've got a whole second leg at home to show that they're the better team. And Real Madrid are the best of any team in this competition at kind of working out and figuring their way through any opposition over 2 legs. They are the best team on the planet at doing that. And that is why I wouldn't concern myself with, well, yeah, they've had a couple of shots, but they're not looking in it. It's 0-0 at half-time in the away leg of this tie. They are very much in this game, Real Madrid. And when you start to doubt them and start to think, oh, maybe they're not at it, maybe they're not here tonight, that's when they tell you, oh no, we're here. And they let you know and give you that evidence to go with it. And I think Mikel Arteta will be reiterating that at half-time. I think he will say to his players, yes, you've been the better team. Yes, Real Madrid haven't been as threatening maybe as we expected them to, or we've commanded the game maybe a little bit more than we expected to. But at the same time, that's what they wanted at the same time at Arsenal. That's what they came out here to do this evening, is to command this game and attack Real Madrid, not look to just sit back and sit deep and defend them like they're Real Madrid. They're the best team on the planet. They're coming out here. This is their home leg. They want to impose themselves, and I would argue they have to an extent. They just haven't found the back of the net yet, and on a couple of those occasions, a bit unlucky. not to find the net. But if they continue in this vein in the second half, you would feel that arguably they would. In my opinion, I think they would find the back of the net. But of course, they had a couple of occasions in that first half where they probably should have done better. If I'm totally honest, Arsenal, Saka getting in those positions, inside channel runs from the right-hand side, getting to the byline, getting the ball across the 6-yard box. He did it twice, Saka, and on both occasions, Real Madrid weren't punished. And I think at this level, in this type of game, against this type of opposition, when you're given a chance like that, you have to take it, or at least make the goalkeeper make an incredible save to deny it. Do everything in your power to get that ball in the back of the net. And that is where Arsenal are struggling, because they don't have that out-and-out centre forward at the moment. And maybe they haven't really played with one recently, even when they did have a fully fit squad. Maybe they didn't want to play with that out-and-out. But in those types of positions, when you've got Saka running across the near post, fizzing balls across the 6-yard box, you need to have someone in there poaching, someone there to tap it in, someone in there making a presence of himself, because that's where you're going to get the goals in a very tight game. And that's when you need to find those little fine margins to get over the line. That's what Real Madrid do. That's what the best teams do. And so far in that first half, Arsenal weren't able to do that. But I think they will refocus. They'll know that there's a whole other half to go, and they won't get carried away. Or they won't kind of let their emotions carry them away from that first half. It's still a whole half of football, still 0-0. Anything can happen between now and the final whistle here this evening. And we'll see what comes of it. At the minute, it is still goalless. Hoping for some goals, a bit selfishly, because we all love to see goals. But at the minute, a very finely poised game. At the minute, it's like a chess match at the minute, and I think the first goal will be massive for this game, for the tie, but also for this game tonight, because it will establish dominance, it will establish the control of this game, and I think if Arsenal get it, it's a massive statement, massive statement to take to the Bernabeu next week if they win this game tonight, the Gunners. But still in it, and still all square. Right, the Championship action that I promised that I would give you. A number of those games, 8 of those games are into the second half. Blackburn Rovers are 2-1 down at home to Sheffield Wednesday. In that one, they were 2-0 up, Sheffield Wednesday, but Blackburn have got a goal back at the start of the second half, so moving in the right direction. Bristol City, maybe punching above their weight into the playoff places. They're leading West Bromwich Albion, who also won a playoff place, by a 1-0 at Ashton Gate. Derby still holding Burnley to a goalless draw at the moment, and maybe having the better of the chances so far, Derby, especially into the second half. Burnley struggling a little bit going forward, still goalless, as it is between Norwich and Sunderland at Carrow Road, goalless there as well. It is 1-1 between Preston and Cardiff. There at Deepdale. Sheffield United still losing at home to Millwall at this moment in time. Josh Coburn's goal is the difference at the minute. Goalless between Stoke and Luton, and Watford lead Hull by 1-0. And in that late game at the Riverside, the key focus game of the Championship tonight is Middlesbrough against Leeds, and Leeds United are in front at the break there at half-time. They were an 8 o'clock kickoff. Dan James has the difference, is the difference maker at the moment, and a massive difference maker, because if Leeds win tonight and all the scorelines stay as they are, Leeds would be back top of the Championship on goal difference, ahead of Burnley and 2 points ahead of Sheffield United. But they can all change. Burnley are drawing, Sheffield United are losing. That can all change with Leeds winning at the moment. Would be sending them top of the Championship. Right. That is where the Championship lies. We'll be back for the second half of this Champions League quarter-final first leg between Arsenal and Real Madrid. It's goalless at the minute. Big second half to come. See you in a minute. Welcome back to Champions League Live, second half at the Emirates between Arsenal and Real Madrid on the way in just a moment. But a reminder for you then that this isn't the only Champions League action we've got for you this midweek. We have another one tomorrow night in the Parc des Princes in Paris as PSG take on Aston Villa. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock on LFS. Right, looking forward to that one tomorrow night, but looking forward to the big second half here at the Emirates, as the players will be returning to the field of play in a moment or two. We can bring you the bracket. So this is the bracket, actually, of the Champions League. This is the way the bracket looks. So the winner of this one will play the winner of tomorrow night's game, PSG against Aston Villa in the semi-finals, and then the other side of the draw is, as you can see there, Barca, Dortmund, and Bayern Munich, Inter Milan on the other side of the draw. So it could stand to reason we could have an El Clasico final if it comes to that by the end. We could have a Der Klassiker semi-final, and we could also have a very, very big final if it comes to Arsenal-Barcelona, a repeat of the 2006 final that Arsenal lost. That would be some story if they were to turn that around 19 years later and get revenge. There are many storylines that can play out in this bracket and this Champions League knockout phase. We will see what transpires over the next what I would say the next 8 nights, next 8 days. It would be in exactly 8 days' time that we will be heading into the final half of the second legs next Wednesday night. And I believe next Wednesday is this return leg of this one. It is. So in 8 days' time, one of these two teams will be going out. One of them will be going through. But we still have another 45 minutes here at the Emirates. And don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be fantastically appreciated. And we thank everybody who's already done that and who's joining us tonight for this one. It's been great. It has been great so far. No goals, but yeah, with a whole second half to come. Don't worry. And the officials taking their time. And Real Madrid coming behind them. So keeping us waiting here, Real Madrid. Don't worry, no one's got any places to go. Yeah, no. Not in a hurry. Arsenal are waiting, ready and waiting on the field of play for the second half to get underway. It's pretty, stats-wise, pretty even in that first half. Arsenal had more of the possession, 55-45. Real Madrid had more shots, 6-5. Arsenal had the better big chances, 2 big chances. Real Madrid didn't create a big chance. They had the better XG as well, did Arsenal, in that first half. Both goalkeepers have made 3 saves, and both teams have had 2 corners. But Arsenal looking better on the passing front of things, and certainly more threatening with the chances they created. But Real Madrid still hanging on in there, and very much putting up their own stats this evening. As the Gunners get us back underway here at the Emirates for the second half. Another 45 to go of this first leg here at the Emirates. The first time these two have ever met inside this stadium. So far it's not eyeing up to be a blockbuster, but we've another half to change that. As I said, they've only met twice before in the Champions League, and that was back in 2006 when Arsenal did get to the Champions League final, their one and only European Cup final, which of course they lost to the other El Clasico team in Barcelona. Well, Arsenal, you would have read, hold on a second, because here's Declan Rice arriving into the box, flick on header, couldn't quite reach Martin Odegaard from Moreno. Brought down well by Saka. Neither side made any substitutes at half-time, as Partey's ball through the lines there was too much for Martin Odegaard to get anywhere near. And Courtois will just retrieve. No substitutes at half-time, but Arsenal are unbeaten in 7 games in all competitions. They were held, of course, to a 1-1 draw at Everton on Saturday afternoon. Was another big droppage of points, but actually they closed the gap on Liverpool. Thinking about it, over the weekend, after Liverpool lost on Sunday to Fulham at Craven Cottage, Arsenal actually closed the gap by a point, picking up that draw away at Goodison. But unbeaten in 7 games in all comps are Arsenal. Want to keep that run going tonight. And that 1-0 defeat at home to West Ham is their only defeat in 21 Premier League matches. In their last 21 Premier League matches, they've won 12 and drawn 8 of those other 20 games. But since losing by the same scoreline at Newcastle on November the 2nd, although they are 11 points behind the league leaders Liverpool at the top of the Premier League tree, with 7 games now to go in the Premier League. It's very unlikely that Arsenal will be anywhere near Liverpool in terms of a title, but it's not mathematically out of the question. Liverpool only need 11 points out of their final 7 games to be crowned Premier League champions, and Arsenal to be the bridesmaid in a Premier League title race once again for the what would that be now, the 4th successive season? Or would it be their 3rd successive season? Anyway, doesn't really matter where Arsenal end up. And they are guaranteed to be back in this competition next season. Not mathematically, but all but, really. Of course, if the Premier League does get top 5 spots for Champions League, Arsenal are 10 points clear of 6th place at the moment. And with their run to the finish line and looking promising and positive, and with their Premier League form, it doesn't look likely they will drop out anywhere near being threatened by those teams below them. And dropping out of Champions League places would be a catastrophe, but it looks almost impossible for that to happen. It's a nice ball from Marino. Round the corner to Martinelli. Looking for the cross. Too high, too wide, too far away. Goal kick. We've already seen a glimpse of Bukayo Saka tonight. He had been injured, of course, from December the 21st when he suffered a hamstring injury, and returned on the 1st of April against Fulham in a 2-1 victory. He scored the decisive goal, ultimately scored the second goal that ended up with Fulham's late goal, ended up being the winner, or the ultimate winning goal in the game. And he also came on against Everton in that 1-1 draw. So his first start this calendar year tonight for Bukayo Saka, and is really making a difference for the Gunners. Certainly was in that first half. It was Saka. Here's Luka Modric for Real Madrid. Stands to reason, I do think the first goal will be crucial. I mean, it would be remarkable, it would be fantastic if Real Madrid could get the first goal for their point, considering they're the away team in the first leg. But if Arsenal get the first goal, this place will erupt. It will give them a sense of belief that they could maybe add another. Real Madrid have already lost in England in the Champions League this year. They did come through Manchester City, albeit in the knockout playoffs, but they did lose to Liverpool. Although Bellingham, here it's through. Kylian Mbappe hits the side netting. That was really cheeky, really sneaky from Real Madrid. Lovely ball up the middle. Bellingham holding that point, and then lays it round the corner for the reverse ball for Kylian Mbappe from a narrow angle. It's tough to take, but he does strike the side netting. Sneaky from Madrid. Sneaky run there from Jude Bellingham. Initially not dealt with by Arsenal. In the end, probably lucky that it didn't find the back of the net there. That would have been a lovely move by Real Madrid, though, if it had ended in a goal. Here's Martinelli. Lewis Skelly to Partey. Switches it out to the right-hand side. Bukayo Saka hugging the touchline. Back to Timber. Nice Saliba. Feeds it out wide again to Bukayo Saka. Rolls it through now. Odegaard. Odegaard trying to return it to his teammates, but Camavinga making ample kind of blocking. And now coming away with the ball is Bellingham. Down the left channel, Vinicius Jr. tries to unleash the afterburners. Bursting down the left-hand side. Edge of the box now. Squares it across to Mbappe. Crowds of Arsenal players struggle back. Rodrigo cuts it back to Modric. And now Arsenal are back with every single player back in shape, which stifles the Real Madrid move. For a split second there, the pace of Vinicius Jr. down that left-hand side was a big problem. For Madrid, they just weren't decisive enough, quick enough, sharp enough in the final third to make a decision before Arsenal could get the bodies back and end up shutting up shop, really. Despite not being the top side in the Premier League, they have conceded the least amount of goals of any Premier League side this season, Arsenal. They have the best defensive record. 26 goals conceded in 31 Premier League games. That's 4 better off than the league leaders Liverpool, have conceded 30 goals, but considering they conceded 3 of them at the weekend. Liverpool, which very rarely happens. Here's a deep cross into the box, but Raya commanding his area. Grabbing with sheer confidence as Camavinga goes down. And Thomas Partey is going to get a yellow card here. I'm not too sure what this is all about. We saw David Raya grab the ball, and then Camavinga was lying on the ground. Yeah, he just shoulder barges Camavinga there. We see the replay. Is that a yellow card? I mean, it's an off-the-ball challenge. Yeah, probably fair enough. Mikel Arteta's not happy. Eduardo Camavinga made his feelings pretty clear to his teammate there, Jude Bellingham. Thomas Partey, luckily for Arsenal, isn't one of those players that would be suspended if from a booking this evening. Obviously, if he gets another one, that's a red card. He would be suspended, but not for the yellow card. He isn't for the second leg, which for Arsenal is a bit of a relief. A yellow card nonetheless. Saliba. Kivior. Of course, Jakub Kivior playing centre-back tonight for Arsenal in place of Gabriel, who is injured and will be out for the remainder of the season. We actually got a glimpse of him in the one of the director's boxes, one of the kind of the fancy boxes inside the Emirates Stadium this evening. The 24-year-old Polishman is in his place tonight, Jakub Kivior. He's played 6 times for Arsenal in the Champions League this year. 4 starts in that time. I don't think any of them were at centre-back. Here's Arsenal into the box. Rice couldn't quite reach it. And Asensio got his body in the way. The call will be a corner, I believe. Asensio took a sheer whack of the ball there. As Rice tried to rescue it, they kind of collided feet, and Asensio got a clean whack in the face with a ball that deflected behind, but it might actually go for a throw. Asensio feeling the effects of that moment. Yeah. Throw in here for Arsenal. Lewis Skelly rolls it back. Now to Kivior. Back to the Arsenal defence again. And that's a foul on Bukayo Saka. In a very central area. David Alaba tracked him all the way inside and committed the foul, which gets Arsenal the free kick. It's really, really good from Bukayo Saka. Again, his impact is not just about crosses or assists or goals. It's these moments. Getting a set piece, breaking the play up, keeping your team in the attacking third. All of these little traits of winning free kicks in these areas just give your team that little bit of extra momentum. It settles the game, it gives them a little bit of control, but it also obviously gives you a goal scoring opportunity, which is pretty priceless. Especially in tight games, and these moments could be massive as Arsenal have a whole committee for deciding who's taking this set piece, and they've got the man of the moment, their set piece coach, on the sidelines. Why do we always get a shot of the set piece coach? I don't care. No disrespect to him, he does a great job, clearly, but I don't care. Free kick for Arsenal then. Declan Rice and Saka are around it. It's about 27 yards out. Rice will take it! What a goal! Oh my goodness me! That is a game-changing moment from that free kick. That it was superbly finished by Declan Rice. Denied by Courtois in the first half. Comes back with a rocket in the second half. I think the whole stadium took an in-step of breath and really couldn't believe what they saw. They couldn't believe it found a way into the back of the net. And Declan Rice unleashing an unbelievable rocket of an effort. Absolutely sumptuous goal. The curl, the bend, the lift, the power. Absolute perfection from Declan Rice. It is unbelievable. You can have any set piece coach you want, but that is something you cannot coach. Sheer class and quality. And Declan Rice showing off his class and quality with that goal. Arsenal 1, Real Madrid 0. What a goal! Absolutely incredible. For a split second, I actually had to recalibrate my brain and think, did that actually go in? It was so well taken. It bounced off the net and back out of the goal. I think the whole crowd were like, oh, like it took them a split second to realise it went into the back of the net. It was such a great goal. My goodness. Oh, wow. That is why we love this competition. That is why. Wow. I'm actually lost for words. I guess I did the whole goal reaction speech, but my goodness. I've no words left after that. It's Real Madrid's turn to respond as they win a corner there off Urian Timber, which gets their fans going. So Arsenal lead Madrid, Inter lead Bayern Munich. Two of the recent winners of this competition trailing at the moment. Real Madrid, of course, the holders. Again, we're getting a replay of this Arsenal set-piece coach. And I get that they're saying that he tells Declan Rice to bend it. I mean, it's clear that he's going to bend it around the wall. As the corner came in there, the header was easily caught from Bellingham. Or easily caught by David Raya from the Bellingham header. As this break down the left side from Martinelli fizzles out with Asensio, giving it back to his goalkeeper. And Courtois. One that Courtois couldn't do anything about. Full stretch. It was just... Sometimes the free kick is just unstoppable. And on that occasion, it will go down in highlights forever and ever. It was sumptuous. Absolutely sumptuous. It was top class. Top quality. And they're not done yet, Arsenal. Here's Saka. Right side. Dispossessed. But that it goes back to my point. I said it just before the free kick. When the free kick was won, I said this is the difference maker. If Saka didn't win that free kick, Arsenal wouldn't be ahead. And it's clearly obvious to say that. But those are the traits that don't get spoken about enough in games of football. Players that can win you set pieces. Players that can win you moments. That can win you games of football. And Bukayo Saka possesses that, as well as his goal-scoring attributes and his assists and his crosses and all of that. It's those moments, those traits, that are the difference, that give you the opportunity to try and score a goal like that. And that is exactly why Bukayo Saka is as priceless to this team as anything else. It's not a fluke that Arsenal are doing so well with him in this side tonight. It is not a fluke. It is deliberate. It is clear example of what he gives to this team. And Arsenal have another corner here on the right hand side, which Saka will take. A lot of bodies at the back post again. They add to this lead. My goodness. It will be something. Saka's delivery into the hands of Courtois. Decent whip, decent cross. Just too many players around the goalkeeper. Made it easier for the goalkeeper in the end, actually, just to isolate himself and get the ball. Camavinga. Modric. Well, I said Real Madrid are not one of those teams that, even if they're not playing well, or even if they're not dominating an opponent, they're never dead and buried. And no doubting, they're still only in the first leg of this quarter-final tie. No questions. There's no doubting them. I wouldn't dare do it ever again. After the last two times they've done it till, mate. And I've said, maybe they're out now. I'm never doing it again. Never. Ruling them out. No matter how many times they concede or go behind in games, it's never done and dusted when it's Real Madrid. And Arsenal will know that. Many's a team will know that. Many teams have probably been on the have drawn the short straw in situations like that. They've been on the wrong end of Real Madrid so many times. And Arsenal will be very well aware that they have taken the lead, yes, but Real Madrid have the quality to bounce back. And here's Vinicius Jr. Crowded out well. Really good defending by Yuri Timber and Declan Rice there. Stopping the Real Madrid man in his tracks. Putting it out for a Real Madrid throw. And that goal from Declan Rice won't just go down in his career highlights. It will go down in the highlights of this competition. It was that good. You might think I'm exaggerating. If you think I'm exaggerating, watch the goal. Because I am by far, no doubt, in my opinion, I am not exaggerating whatsoever. Declan Rice having another incredible season in all comps. It's, I believe, his third Champions League goal of the season. It is. Scored here against PSV Eindhoven in the round of 16. And they drew 2-2 here. Of course, progressing from that one. And he also scored against Dinamo Zagreb in a 3-0 victory for Arsenal. So has won twice already. As he's in again. Oh, wasn't able to get anywhere near the shot. As that's going to be a foul on Rodrigo, which is going to see Real Madrid get a free kick, which they want to take quickly, but Mbappe runs right into Jakub Kiwior. Made it a bit easy for him. Here's Timber. Now Saka, 25 minutes to go. Arsenal 1, Real Madrid 0. Saka, down the right side. What can he do? He's not going to take on Jude Bellingham there. Goes back to Urian Timber. Then to Saliba. Across to Kivior. Wide it goes to Rice. Now Martinelli. Trying to drift towards the box. Martinelli cuts it back to Lewis Skelly now. Kivior. Nice little ball into Declan Rice's path. Around to Lewis Skelly. Excuse me. Holding off one challenge. Martinelli! The rebound! Oh, what a save! Gets another chance! What a save! Thibaut Courtois. Mikel Merino had 2 golden opportunities to give Arsenal a second goal. Courtois, unbelievable, saves Martinelli's shot. Then from the rebound of that, Merino has one effort saved by Courtois, then another effort popped over the top by Courtois. I mean, my goodness me. Thibaut Courtois has made some saves tonight. This tie could be out of sight if he wasn't in goal tonight. It's that simple. Saka's corner, punched away by Courtois. Rice with a follow-up. Cleared away off the line. Arsenal are toying with Real Madrid. They're all over the place at the minute, Madrid. Arsenal need to take this game by the scruff of the neck and really put Real Madrid to the sword when they can, because it's not always going to be available to them. Partey, shot blocked, but they going to pull it back here, the referee, for a foul on Bukayo Saka, committed by Jude Bellingham. Yeah, it is a free kick, definitely, and Saka winning that again. It's Bellingham who clears off the line from Rice's effort again. My goodness, Real Madrid, man, all over the place. Arsenal have had so many attempts in the last 3, 4, 5 minutes since they scored. They've only gotten better and only gotten more likely to score more goals. There's a bit of concern here. Mikel Merino's gone down for Arsenal. They're like the walking wounded at the minute, the Gunners. No doubting they're putting absolutely everything into this one, as Mikel Merino helped back to his feet. Saka is also back to his feet, which is a good thing, from the free kick. And it was Camavinga that committed the foul. He's got a yellow card. I think it's Camavinga. It hasn't been officially confirmed. I've been told it's Camavinga. I'll wait for the official confirmation, because that is a big moment. That is big for this tie as a whole for Real Madrid. This is another opportunity. Similar position to where the goal came from. Further to the left, this one. The first free kick was far to the right side. This one's to the left-hand side of the goal. It's Rice and Odegaard that's over it. I mean, there is a right footer's effort there, but he can also sneak it round the left side if they want to here, Arsenal. Let's see what they'll do. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. And Declan Rice scores another free kick. Oh my goodness me. Declan Rice scores a second goal from a set piece in a Champions League quarter-final for Arsenal against Real Madrid. Who thought they were bad at set pieces recently? Who thought they'd stepped off the mark? Well, Declan Rice has by far stepped up and made himself counted tonight. What a goal! If you thought he couldn't better the first one, this is as top ends as you can get it. It is immensely better than the first one, and the first one was unbelievable. There aren't words in the English language to describe how good this goal is. It is as top end as you can get it. That is sensational from Declan Rice. I don't even think I can believe what I'm seeing. It's that good. It's absolutely unreal. This will probably go down for Declan Rice as one of his best performances ever. And he scored from 2 set pieces. We say set pieces can make the difference and the fine margins in close games. Well, by far Declan Rice has made them count. Arsenal 2, Real Madrid 0, and Declan Rice with 2 incredible set pieces. Oh my goodness. Jesus God Almighty. Real Madrid make changes. Real Madrid did make changes, if I can enunciate it right. I think my head's been scrambled. I can't believe this. I mean, I'm not an Arsenal fan in any way, shape or form, but you can't deny how good those 2 goals were. Oh my goodness me. I'm in shock. This goal is absolutely out of this world. Oh my God. I could watch that time and time and time again, thousands and thousands and millions of times on repeat, and never get bored of it. That is probably one of the best free kicks I have ever seen in my life. It is technically unreal. Unreal. And those Arsenal fans are loving it as much as they possibly can. Let it sink in, because this is a moment you might not ever get again. And you certainly might not get recently. It doesn't happen very often that you might score 2 set pieces of that such quality. It might never happen again. So certainly soak it all up as Arsenal are making changes. Real Madrid, let me calm down. Real Madrid did make a change. Lucas Vazquez did come on for Luka Modric. Arsenal are making a change. Bukayo Saka is coming off, and he's being replaced by Leandro Trossard. Saka won both free kicks, by the way. Both free kicks, but nothing away from Declan Rice. Those are absolutely sumptuous, scintillating, whatever word you want to use. It makes you want to swear. You know, that much charged emotion, you want to scream. You want to shout. I inadvertently quoted a Will I Am song there. Anyway, never mind. I think I've lost my mind now. There's 16 minutes left to go. Arsenal 2, Real Madrid 0 in this quarter-final, the first leg of the Champions League. And Real Madrid are all over the place, and they've only conceded from set pieces. They could have conceded so many more. Here's Lewis Skelly. Another one! Oh my God, Mikel Merino. Arsenal are running away with it. If Real Madrid don't get to grips with this quickly, they will see a retention of their trophy collapse quicker and dissipate quicker than Pompeii. Oh my goodness, Mikel Merino, clean as you like, straight strike into the bottom left corner. 3-0 Arsenal. Real Madrid are falling apart, and Arsenal are capitalising time and time again. Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0. The Galacticos have really been brought back down to earth and been humbled by Arsenal tonight. Humbled. I said it was not to worry for Arsenal at half-time that they hadn't scored, because they were doing all the right things and Real Madrid were giving them chances. The difference between the first and second half is that Arsenal are taking their chances. This is another great goal. I have seen 3 absolutely incredible goals. None of them comparable whatsoever. They're in a world of their own, each of them. And equally incredible. Mikel Merino adding a third. They are running away with this now. And Real Madrid are just begging for mercy. But Arsenal are not in a merciful mood. They want this tie done. And they could do that. There are already 3 goals to the good. They could maybe add a 4th before the final whistle. And that would surely be the final nail in the Real Madrid coffin. You would never want to rule them out or rule them down and out, Real Madrid. But my goodness me. This is some position. If they were to come back, it would be some position to come back from. It is the mountain of all mountains to climb. Even this would peak past Everest in difficult climbs and difficult comebacks. But if there is one team capable of it, it is Real Madrid. But that's not for tonight's conversation. That's for Real Madrid to worry about in 8 days' time. If they can even get to that point with being alive. They look dead and buried. But I would never wish to say that on Real Madrid. It might ignite some sort of curse that they have. Some sort of omen they have in this competition. Where they look like they're gone, and every single time they find a new way to surprise us. Here's Vinicius Jr. Might give a bit of respite for Madrid here. Madrid. Oh, Mbappe couldn't quite feed it on to Bellingham. And Martin Odegaard there, winning a free kick. Jude Bellingham a little bit frustrated. You can really see it. And he's just kind of sharing a friendly hand there with Martin Odegaard. Yeah, it was a foul. Well, Real Madrid felt real pain against Valencia at the Bernabeu on Saturday. They conceded a 95th minute goal to lose 2-1. It was their 3rd defeat in 8 games in all competitions. That was as many in their previous 23. They're having a little bit of a wobble, Real Madrid, in recent weeks for their high standards. But tonight, it's been much more of a wobble. Much more than a wobble, shall I say. They have been completely legless tonight. Especially in this second half. Arsenal have absolutely schooled them. And Declan Rice, what in holy Jesus Christ have we just seen tonight? Those 2 goals from Declan Rice are out of this galaxy. Forget about out of this world. Forget about out of this planet. They're out of this galaxy, how good they are. And Rice felt a bit of pain there. He was receiving a bit of treatment. He's, I think, going to now come off the field just as a precaution. But my goodness, he's given those Arsenal fans something to celebrate. Something to bounce up and down inside this stadium about. Wave those scarves in celebration. He might just have given Arsenal a sneak peek into the semi-finals. As Kieran Tierney comes on to replace Declan Rice for the final 10 minutes or so of this quarter-final first leg at the Emirates. Now, Real Madrid also made a substitution. David Alaba has been replaced by Fran Garcia. So another change for Madrid there. It's a defensive, a straight swap at defence, I believe. Fran Garcia for David Alaba. Tierney not in a hurry to take this throw in. Who can blame him? This team are 3-0 up. I mean, they don't need to be in a hurry, Arsenal. Well, there's a man who, whether you're winning 3-0, losing 3-0, he never changes his emotions, Carlo Ancelotti. Steely-faced on the sideline is the Real Madrid head coach. I mean, a penny for his thoughts. What will he make of this? I mean, the 2 set-piece goals, there's very little you can do about that. They're just sheer quality, but Real Madrid have been allowed, they've allowed Arsenal to just dominate them. destroy them, completely carve them apart. And who knows, every other English side in this competition against Real Madrid in recent years have failed. Certainly at this stage. Could Arsenal be the team that bucks the trend and does finally give Real Madrid a real pasting and knock the rating holders out? Wow. Just wow. That's all you can say. That's all you can say. I did mention they have lost against Premier League opposition in the last 3 eliminations. Real Madrid, the last 3 times they've been knocked out, has been at the hands of Premier League opponents. Chelsea in the semi-finals in 2021, Man City in the 2019-20 round of 16, and in the 2022-23 semi-finals. So their last 3 times they failed to go all the way, Real Madrid. It was all at the hands of a Premier League opponent. Their away record against English clubs isn't too great either, though. In the Champions League, they've won 10, drawn 6, lost 11. Just fairly even. For Real Madrid, it's below their standards. As Arsenal win a corner there off Fran Garcia. I love saying that name. Garcia. Another Arsenal corner. Their 5th of the game. They haven't needed to rely upon their corners tonight at all, Arsenal. It's not the set piece they were eyeing up tonight. Bit of a tangle there between Jude Bellingham and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Whatever that's all about. 3-0 to the Gunners. 6.5 minutes to go. Those fans will be in dreamland. Here's a chance to maybe add another from a corner. Whipped in deep by Odegaard, punched away by Courtois. Trossard trying to keep it alive, but up in the air from Fran Garcia. And it will be a free kick as Rodrigo was brought down by Kieran Tierney on the edge of the box. As Rodrigo is going to be replaced by Brahim Diaz for Real Madrid. Another change for Carlo Ancelotti's side. Darius says Madrid should get out already. I'm sure they are desperate for the final whistle. They are desperate. They have never wanted a referee to blow for full time more than they will now, Real Madrid. But my goodness, Arsenal have deserved it. No doubt. No doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind whatsoever. They might have slightly looked and strayed focus from their Premier League game at the weekend to give them as much chance tonight. And I'm sure they are so glad they did. Because look at what they've put down tonight. When given time, when given the opportunity, this Arsenal side might just do something that the team and the teams before them couldn't. If you can knock and batter Real Madrid and rattle them, you can do it to any team in the world. And Arsenal know that this season is far from done. They may not be in a battle for the title anymore in the Premier League, but by goodness they're in a battle for the Champions League. And I'm sure going all the way isn't out of the realms of possibility for Arsenal. Certainly, they don't feel that it's impossible for them now. There's one game, one opponent that you beat that will give you confidence. It is Real Madrid. Arsenal have just taken, I said it, at 1-0, Arsenal need to take this game by the scruff of the neck. And they did that. They've added a second, added a third. Sumptuously so. The way they did it doesn't matter. The fact that they did it and they're 3-0 up after a home leg against Real Madrid is massive. It's monumentous. Because they know the return leg, no matter what your scoreline is, going to the Bernabeu will be tough, will be difficult, will be one of their toughest games of the season. No doubt. But with a 3-goal advantage, you give yourself as much of a cushion as you possibly can. And it doesn't matter how you do it. It's all about getting through. Real Madrid are a team that epitomise that more than anyone else in the Champions League. Just find a way to get through. But Arsenal tonight have undoubtedly, forget about the scoreline, they have undoubtedly been the better side. Unbelievable. The Super Brothers says I was going for Arsenal, but I didn't think it would be 3-0 in the 86th minute. Yeah, I don't think anybody did. We do have goals, just as Darius is putting into the chat there. Bayern are 2-1 down. They are. There's been some late action in Munich tonight. Thomas Müller, the veteran Thomas Müller, thought he'd rescued something out of the home leg for Bayern Munich. Well, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Thomas Müller with the equalising goal, but just 3 minutes after that goal, David Fratesi, the Italian, has given the Italian side the lead once again. Inter Milan are back in front. It is 2-1 to Inter in Munich, and they've got their home leg to come, and they might be taking a lead into that game in San Siro next Wednesday evening. We might have a bit of a choice for viewing next week, next Wednesday night, because who knows? I mean, you would be really stupid to deny your chance of watching a game between these two again, because it's been fabulous tonight. But Bayern Inter looks very close. We might. We'll see. I think we're probably going to err on the side of it's Arsenal Real Madrid. But you never know. You never know. Well, there's no doubt what we've got coming up for you tomorrow night. We're in the Parc des Princes as PSG host Aston Villa. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock on LFS for our second quarter-final of the week. And the second legs, the return legs of all of these quarter-finals take place next midweek. So next Tuesday and Wednesday night. And we'll have selected quarter-finals for you those nights as well. Ball in behind here for Tierney to chase, but Asencio has it covered. I think Real Madrid just want this game to be done. Forget about it. But what is next? Of course, before they meet again in 8 days' time, will Arsenal have a London derby at the weekend? They host Brentford here at 5:30 on Saturday, before they head to Madrid next Wednesday night. Real Madrid looking to get back to winning ways in league form after failing to win any of their, obviously losing at the weekend, after they went through in the Copa del Rey. But they have got a trip to Deportivo Alaves this weekend. That's this Sunday afternoon. So they have a day less than Arsenal for recovery. Do Real Madrid before they host Arsenal next midweek. Now that's what's to come for these two teams. As Urian Timber goes down, we will have 4 added minutes at the end of the 90, but it might be a little bit more with Urian Timber going down now. Darius says, who do you think will win the Champions League? Well, before tonight, I was going to say Real Madrid, but I don't want to let this cloud my judgment. I was going to say Real Madrid, but they weren't the favourites. We had a part of our graphics earlier this evening, if I can show you that, while there is a stoppage in play. As I think Arsenal are going to make a sub. This is before the quarter-finals. Was the Opta predictions for who's most likely to win the Champions League. Real Madrid were 5th in that list of teams remaining in the competition, likely to win the competition. Barcelona are the favourites, along with PSG, are second, and Arsenal are third favourites. Before this tie, after the draw was done, of course, these are the teams in order of who they expect to be the favourites. I didn't expect Arsenal to be as favoured as they are. I didn't expect Real Madrid to be as unfavoured as they are. But this game might turn to reason why they are. Yeah, I was going to say Real Madrid tonight, but really, I have no idea. I don't want to jump on the bandwagon saying Barcelona, because they could be a dark horse, but also PSG. I think PSG have got something this season. They're a different team. They've already knocked out Liverpool. They might have a draw where they think it's Aston Villa. They would probably feel that they should get through that. No guarantees, of course, it's the Champions League. But they probably feel they should get through that. And then a semi-final would be against one of these two, of course. Which they would probably back themselves as well. So, I don't know. I would say PSG are the dark horse, but it's anybody's guess. Who the hell knows anymore? If it's not Real Madrid, it could be anybody. That's what has been the feeling in the Champions League over the last number of years. If it's not PSG or Man City, it could be any bloody body. Really. It's not... at the minute, 3-0 down in the first leg. Real Madrid have a lot of work to do if they want to try and retain their trophy. It is their trophy. They're the holders, but they are the record holders. 15 times winners of this competition, Real Madrid. Incredible. But tonight, they've been outclassed. It's not often that ever happens to Real Madrid, but tonight will be one of those nights. Tuesday, the 8th of April, 2025. Location, Emirates Stadium, North London. Arsenal were the opponents. A night to be remembered in history, to be set in stone, as Real Madrid try and get a late consolation here. Vasquez's cross, well defended by Arsenal as it comes away. Last minute of the 4 added here. Mbappe trying to drive himself into the box. Went down. Not going to get a penalty for that. There's Vasquez there committing a foul, and Trossard getting Arsenal the free kick. And it's going to be a yellow card. It's going to be a red card here. There's already a yellow card handed out to Eduardo Camavinga, and he kicked the ball away, delaying the restart, which is an automatic yellow card, which equates to a red for Eduardo Camavinga. And if Real Madrid's night wasn't already bad, it's getting much, much worse. We're now down to 10. Camavinga was already suspended for the second leg after getting his yellow card earlier. He's got a second one, and that's a red. Yeah, free kick was given away. He just booted it away. I mean, it's just naive. It's frustration coming through, of course it is, but it doesn't excuse it. Doesn't give you an excuse to boot the ball just because you're losing, throwing a tantrum. But it was a yellow card. Nothing the referee could do there. He got the complete right decision. As the free kick's taken long. What is your prediction for the Villa PSG match? Well, I'd argue PSG being the home team, but you never know. Villa have caused some shocks this season. Very capable. No doubt about that. Just have to wait and see. Join us tomorrow night for that. 8 o'clock. As there's the final whistle. Arsenal have absolutely schooled Real Madrid, and Carlo Ancelotti's team will have some comeback needed to try and stay in this competition and to feed off Arsenal and feather off Arsenal. Come next week, it will be some task. Arsenal with 2 incredible set-piece goals from Declan Rice, one topping the other in its quality and its class, and the third by Mikel Merino, sumptuous too. A night of sheer raw quality from Arsenal. They were the better side by far in the end, and the reigning European champions have a fight to keep grasp of their trophy. Arsenal have well beaten them, and Real Madrid are going to need a comeback of the century if they are going to topple this Arsenal side in 8 days' time. It will be a task they will relish, and they will look and would love to complete. They've come back in many different various ways in previous seasons, but this one would be truly special if they were to complete it. But the way it's going at the moment, and the way this game's gone tonight, you would be a fool to bet against Arsenal. But you never know. Final score from the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final here at the Emirates. It's finished. Arsenal 3, Real Madrid 0. Oh my God. Wow. There you are. There you are. What a night. What a night of action in the Champions League. Wow. I didn't see that one coming. I don't think many of us did. But there we are. Arsenal completing it. They're one step closer, one half of the way there, to completing the task and knocking out the reigning European champions. They knocked out Real Madrid en route to the final in 2006. I said they would love to replicate it. They're undoubtedly probably going to top it if they do it. No doubt about that. 3 incredible goals. And no doubting Declan Rice's second goal. Oh my God. I don't doubt you're probably going to watch the highlights. But my goodness me. I beg of you to watch the highlights just for your own sanity. Because it's an unbelievable set of goals. I mean, if there's ever a way to up the first goal, it was to score the second one in the way that Declan Rice did. I mean, I didn't think there was a way of probably topping that, but by clearly there was, and Declan Rice did so. Unbelievable goals. I didn't even think he was capable of that. No disrespect to him. I just didn't think anybody was capable of that in football. More fool me for doubting him, but my God, that was some set of goals from Arsenal tonight. Right, this is how the Champions League quarterfinals look then. After the first set of first legs tonight, Arsenal 3-0 victors over Real Madrid. What a dominant scoreline that is to take to the Bernabeu next Wednesday night. And Bayern Munich not making much of their home advantage tonight. Inter Milan came and conquered and had to fight from being pegged back on the night. Lautaro Martinez gave Milan the lead in the first half. Thomas Müller, the veteran for Bayern, thought he'd rescued a draw, but not to be. David Fratesi, the Italian, giving the Italians the lead to take back to Italy and the San Siro next week. Tomorrow night, if it's going to get anywhere close to matching tonight, it will be sensational. Barcelona taking on Borussia Dortmund. Spain v Germany there at Barcelona tomorrow night. And then we're in the Parc des Princes for our commentary game as PSG, one of the dark horses of this season's competition, take on Aston Villa. Certainly one of those that we didn't expect to be here, but they're, no, I wouldn't say punching above their weight. I think they're defying expectations, Aston Villa being into the quarterfinals. Those are the games tomorrow night, and a reminder for you that PSG Villa game is tomorrow, 8 o'clock on LFS. Wow. What a night. What a night. Thank you so much for watching. We will have the highlights of the commentary, the 3-goal reactions, up very shortly in about an hour's time, hopefully, on the channel. So do watch that. I recommend you to go and watch the highlights of that game if you didn't see the goals live, because what a set of goals from Arsenal. And we will have the reactions all up here on LFS for you later on this evening. But for now, thanks so much for your company tonight. It's night 1 of 4 in the quarterfinals, and what a night to start it. Arsenal, 3 sumptuous goals, one topping the other. Real Madrid being absolutely battered on the English territories again, like they were in the league phase. They're doing it again, our Arsenal, for the very first time against Real Madrid at the Emirates. What a way to unleash yourself in this competition. Arsenal are firm favourites to be heading through, but you never know. It's Real Madrid after all, but it is some task if they're to do it. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Night night.